Well, it's time to take a look at stories making headlines in the Nigerian newspapers. I have with me in the studio aviation expert, Dr. Dayo. Kayode, thank you for joining us again.
My pleasure.
All right, let's head straight to the papers now. I will start with the Daily Trust. Thousands of pupils skip primary 5 and 6 to GSS 1. We'll move to the front page of the blueprint. Oyegun Oshomole rift deepens. Allow Obaseki concentrate, ex-APC chair. Beware of illegality, party tells Edo governor. And to the front page of the Nigerian News Direct, fear grips federal government, private workers over Npower welfare scam. It's fake news, federal government reacts. We have no report, EFCC says. And we have on the front page of the Daily Sun, Buhari rallies Zamfara residents against bandits, urges them to expose culprits, partner security agencies. To the front page of the Nigerian Tribune now, DSS screens Buhari's ministerial nominees. Well, a lot of Nigerians have been waiting for that. We'll move on to the front page of The Guardian. Lawyers split on suit against Code of Conduct Bureau. Serap seeks judicial review compelling order against agency. And finally, on the front page of the Vanguard, Akpakpa gridlock crashes, earnings in consumer goods, revenue down to 10.6 as firms struggle to contain costs. Well, gentlemen, one of the stories I would like for us to look at, well, before we look at the stories, joining us now is Dotun Ojon, leadership expert as well. Thank you so much for making it here.
Yeah, good morning. My vehicle actually broke down. I had to just park somewhere.
Oh, sorry about that. We can imagine. All right, we'll be looking at the story on the front page of the Daily Sun. Buhari rallying Zamfara residents against bandits and urging them to expose culprits and partner security agencies. I'll start with you, Dr. Kayode. Most persons say that the issue when it comes to residents or people, you know, partnering with security agencies, that the issue of trust is always a challenge. Because that is what can lead to the success of any operation. We know how banditry has ravaged, so to speak, the state in Zamfara state. But then partnering with security agencies, that's the resident. Do you think that's the way to go? And do the people trust the security agencies to do this?
Yeah, you see, in the first instance, security and safety is the business of everybody. Business of everybody. Because when you don't take care of your own safety, is it the government that is not living within your neighborhood that will do that? So all you need to do is, whenever you see some nocturnal movement around yourself or activities, you need to cry out.
But then the challenge that most of them have said is, most of the time when they cry out, the response.
That is where I'm coming to. That is where I'm coming to. There was a rumor now in court a few days ago as regards in Enugu or thereabouts, somewhere in the east, that some people were using Air Force aircraft to drop some things for whatever and all that, even though those who had, they came out to dispel the rumor. But then if it is true, that is a way in which those people are safeguarding themselves. They saw something unusual and they cry out, all right? That is if it is true. But then, more often than not, you see people, they will run to police station to say, look at what is happening. The police will say, we don't have this fuel in our vehicle.
Give us money.
Give us money. I've gone to the police station before, and the officer in charge then, that was years back, was saying, Dayo, look, my guys have not eaten. No, this is true life story. This is
and you had to buy food for them?
This is somebody that was supposed to be my friend. I said, oh boy, you are telling me this? I said, I don't even need you. It's just that I need to come and lay a report at the police station as regards the incident that happened in my house overnight. So those are the things that we see. Then you even see some of these police officers, they buy uniform by themselves. I've seen them doing that. You see them wearing slippers on the road. No equipment, nothing whatsoever.
So this hampers the effectiveness of their service?
It also hampers effectiveness of their service. And mark you, I've also heard about situations whereby money are being earmarked to officers and their superiors. We sit down on it. These are issues that needs to be looked at for our officers to be efficient
in carrying out their duties. All right, let's get the Dotun to speak on this issue now. The president wants the residents in Zamfara to partner with security agencies. How do you see this impacting the issues of banditry as well as kidnapping in that state?
You see, was it last week that we talked about the need for trust in the police system? I remember when Bado started in Ikorodu, that's where I live, I had to come out with what an initiative called Police Youth Connect. It was a roundtable where people can actually share their experiences and talk to the police authority. And by so doing, the people that came for the program were free enough to actually put call through to the former PPRO of Lagos State. So the major challenge we have is not even, unfortunately, it's not even more guns as we may actually have taught it. I have been in the system because I come from a police-populated family, and I've also worked directly with the police. I think the major challenge is trust. And when you are building trust, you may not need the president to say it, because first, the trust is not about the person. The trust is about the system. So how do you begin to build a system that the people will be able to trust? It begins with what Dayo stated. And the first thing is, when you're building an efficient police, I gave an example of the UK. One of the reasons why UK is able to build a police system that is a little bit better is the police in the UK is the symbol of their public service. I did a course on public leadership in the UK, and everything that was taught is on the UK police. So first, we need to redefine that. If somebody is fighting corruption in Abuja and says, oh, I am here to fight corruption, and you are driving on the road of Lagos, and you see a policeman ask you for bribe, you will have forgotten totally that somebody is fighting corruption, because you can relate directly, you can see corruption by yourself. So instead of appealing to the people, or beyond appealing to the people, I think the president should appeal to himself to begin to build a system before you appeal to the people.
When you say talk about the system, but you know, one of the cardinal points or focus of this government is to fight corruption.
Yeah, I totally.
So, of course. So
you see,
hasn't that been in place?
Why there's insecurity in Nigeria today is because of corruption.
Really?
You see, the corruption that is going on in this government, people will not get to see it now.
Until after.
People will not get to see it now, because there are budgetary provision every now and then. If you have knowledge of government very carefully, you discover that there are two basic ministries that people in government use to siphon money. The first is security, because nobody wants to ask questions. They say it's security matter. The second one is information. They just budget money, they use it. You don't get to know how it's being used. Why people are still getting killed today, why people still cannot face Boko Haram, why they turn and run away, is because the money that has been earmarked has not been properly used. First, you get to the Ministry of Finance. People in the military will have to go there practically to beg before they get allocation. Now they get their own share of allocation. People fighting the war in the war front are begging their superior to get allocation. So the problem we have in Nigeria is not with the gun-carrying members of the police or the military. It is with the money-carrying members of the military. And those in government who are not serious
but then
and sincere
a solution has to be found when it comes to this situation we found ourselves. Yes, that's why we need to build trust. Agreed, we need to fight corruption, but then we need to find a solution.
Yeah, you see, we keep on saying it, solution and solution.
In the short term, perhaps.
Yeah, in the short term. Listen to this. Let there be a good synergy between, one, the people, two, those in the forefront fighting that insurgent, then three, the administration. The moment there is synergy there, and the moment there is truth there, do you understand? The moment there is truth there, then lastly, I kept on saying this. the philosophy of the leadership must be directly proportional to what he is professing. Because it is one thing for you to say this. It is another thing for your body language to be doing something else.
You see,
Imagine, who are you speaking about?
No, listen, imagine, sorry, Dotun.
Who are you speaking about?
Listen to this, we know. Imagine, I am fighting corruption, and somebody is with me, embezzling money, IDP's money, to go and cut grass, and I'm not doing anything.
That one is already in court.
Do you no, I mean, series of issues.
Not even my issue.
Series of issues like that.
My major issue is this. My major issue is
Let's
this.
get his major
If you
issue
read
now.
philosophy very carefully, you discover that there are some certain segment of the society that a tea-drinking leader may not be able to solve. You know who a tea-drinking leader is? Somebody who is smiling and all that. It could take a tobacco-smoking leader sometimes. Somebody who knows that I really want to tackle this thing and tackle it. That is the level we are in the insecurity level in Nigeria now. It is no longer people go and partner with government. You have to put, it's like if I am heading a government, and
but the
if I'm heading a government.
Before he spoke about, okay, let the resident partner with security agencies, there's been a ban on, you know, motorcycling, or what we call Okada in the
The
States.
sincerity is this. Not too many people will be disappointed. At the end of the day, if poverty level, and I'm being sincere, if poverty level of Nigerians and Nigeria does not improve after President Buhari's tenure, but so many people will be disappointed if at the end of his tenure, we still have insecurity issue, because that's your area of strength. If you have an area of strength, it's just if I'm heading an organization, or a nation, and you are saying there's poverty. I know my core area is leadership to solve problem of poverty. So if you have a core area of security, having the knowledge of security, having the understanding of the architecture of security, and governors are supposedly or allegedly suggesting to you that you should remove some people, and you think you want to sit and you judge people performance by their belly and their fat? No. I think it's about time for the president to be more decisive, and the time is now.
Workers in the federal government and private sector on the list, you know, the payment slip. How worrying is this for you? I'll start with you, Dr. Kayode.
It's actually worrisome. But let me first of all give kudos to Taiwo Adebulu or something like that, that did a comprehensive investigative journalism on the activities of Npower, NDs, and SIP, and
yes,
you know, the guy really went into that particular program as one of the participants, and he got the whole details with photographs of people, ID cards, bank alerts, and all that. What they do is through absenteeism and procurement of employment, then paying off of people in their PPAs, the primary place of primary assignments and all that. And interestingly, NOA and the Sube people are also involved. And thank God, Kayode, who is the SSA to the president on employment and all that, said they are all aware of all this. But the most worrisome thing is this. Despite all the structures being put in place for them not to have this kind of a thing in place, like verification.
People still beat the system.
People still beat the system. So the issue is, one, there is systemic failure. If there is systemic failure, then that means people are not really getting value for the whole money being spent by government. Because from the statistics that Adebulu gave, they were spending almost 15 billion every month. So where is this within the people that are not employed?
All right, let's get to Dotun in now. You remember there was a time the wife of the president came out to complain that certain persons from her own end of the state were not benefiting from this scheme. Perhaps issues like this are the ones impeding, you know, the progress of this scheme.
You see, cultural mindset is one of the strongest things that anybody can actually change. as we speak now, it is the culture of the people to practice this kind of thing. I once went...
Why should it be a culture?
It is a culture of the system. You know, it talked about the failure of the system. You know why the system fails so often in Nigeria is because those who have the spanner to the system are within. And instead of tightening the whole thing, they loosen it. So there's no how you are going to get past some of these gates that have been built by government without the involvement of people within the gate. I'm not even going to mention, there are people within the system who benefit. And this is how they benefit. It's very simple. My younger brother or sister is working somewhere. I simply just put her name. And at the end of the day, if I'm supposed to pay her 15,000, I just give her 7,000 for doing nothing. I hold the 7,000 back.
Exactly.
Even in some sensitive areas that you do not want to mention. It happens. We have seen cases. At least there was one case that I was directly involved in where somebody died in active service. This is why you see we may have to go back briefly to the issue of security challenge in Nigeria. Somebody died in active service. The money was released. Instead of the money getting to the family, somebody in the process was actually negotiating with the family that, oh, we can't pay everything. You know, government, no, they pay people who don't die. So we are going to give you certain percentage. So this failure is within the system. Now, from 2016 and now, I understand that the government has released close to 500 billion naira. 500 billion naira should have made a serious impact.
Because Nigeria is still seen to have the poorest of the poor.
Through
SIP SIP.
Yes, you see, some of these things, government don't take it so seriously the way they want to take it. You know why? Because government still has this mindset of...
Government don't take it seriously, but you could see the vice president going across the states to ensure that this money gets to the people that were meant to get it.
You see, you may not even need to go to states to ensure that it gets to. All you need to do is just to peep beneath your seat. People walking around you. If it means surveillance, private surveillance, to ensure that, I've worked in an organization before where you sign an agreement that all your transactions must be transparent, and the company has the right to actually go to the bank and say, oh, how much does he have? So these are some of these things that we must put in place.
So proper checks and not ensure, and is what is needed.
You see, for us to end poverty, this is one of the programs we need. Except if we want to lie. To end poverty in Nigeria, this is one of the programs, but not just putting the program in place or just disbursing money as government. We must monitor the entire process.
But you see, Dotun, they actually put in good processes there, procedure to check. But it's so unfortunate.
Systemic
failure.
Yeah, people are still beating the system. Gentlemen, we have to leave it at this point. We need to go. Thank you so much for your contribution.